We're talking Europa League. That's right. Manchester United, we're going to win the Europa League. That's our best chance of getting European football in 25-26. And when I say European football, I mean that Champions League and music that we all want to hear. But first, we have a new format we're breaking down here for 24-25 Europa League. We got 8 matches. There's this giant table with all these teams that you've never heard of, sir. How are you feeling about this new format so far in the Europa League?
You know, part of me likes it. Part of me, as a fan, I like the idea of. I don't mind like the rolling table and the best teams make it out. I don't mind the fact that you don't play the same team twice, right? So it used to be like, obviously you play 3 different teams twice, and now you play 8 different teams once. I just think the idea of adding more games is preposterous at this point, and I just think at some point, like something's gonna break.
Well, we're played to January now, right? It used to be like
January would kind of be off. You'd have the
exactly,
break. You'd have all the holiday. Right? You'd have obviously the cups, like you said. You'd have Europe. Europe would finish by mid to early December usually, and then you have like a shit ton of league games, and then by New Year's you get a rest. I think there's an international break. And then you might have like EFL if you're there, or FA Cup maybe if I remember correctly. But usually it was a chill month. And now you have like 2 big games. And there's just, I mean, I don't think anyone else is caring about the players, but like they just messed another tournament. I've never even heard, the Club World Cup schedule. And I was like, what the fuck is the Club World Cup? And then apparently that's happening next year. So Europa League adding games, Champions League adding games. Like I just don't think it's good for the sport. I just think like it's bad. The players are playing too many games. I like the idea of more games as a Muppet, but like I just think it's bad for the sport because the quality of games is going down. There's more of them, but I think the players are getting hurt more often. They're more tired. It's just too much. It's crazy.
I think you're right. I do agree. Like the new format where you only play a team once, it's like you don't need to go FCK away, FCK home, like FC Copenhagen. You didn't need to go to Omnia Nicosia away and then Omnia Nicosia home in Europa League. It's too much. And then now that you're switching it up, it's great. You get Porto, you get Rangers, you're getting some no-name teams, Fenerbahce and Turkey away. I really like that. It kind of freshens it up. 8 matches, probably too much, but for the new league table, I think 8 matches kind of could make it a little more exciting. So I think we just have to watch it. As far as players playing too many games, they made a lot of accommodations with the subs, squad sizes. Like the issue I've had with United and Ten Hag specifically is he's always playing like on the hot seat back against the wall. So he's always playing strong teams where like Ferguson would be rotating like insane, rotating like against weaker opposition. I feel like the rotation game has kind of been lost a little bit. You see it maybe with the cities. But United have not been rotating as much as we have. You think of the strong team we played against Barnsley, another strong team against Twente. We need to be rotating. And if you do that, I think you can last. Obviously, injuries last year, different story.
But not everyone's Manchester United, sir. Not everyone has a huge squad like
should
we
be advantage us, right?
It should be, but it still doesn't necessarily good for
the
youngsters.
If you played young kids in these games, I think like
I don't mind the table. I don't mind the table because that means actually like the group. The strength of group goes away. Like the group of depth technically goes away because you're all placed with everybody in the same pool. Like, so I don't mind that. I just don't think you needed to add 2 more games. And then you have like the knockout part. If you don't qualify, like we'll talk about the rules in a second, John. But like they're adding more games to the group stage, and then they're adding more games if you don't make it. So it's like they're just more games, and it's all for money. It's like the only motivation is to make more money. They have no other motivation.
Of course.
It's not to expand the sport. It's not to bring in more teams. It's not to make more. It's just about money. So that's my problem is like you always have to follow the money, and this is as clear as day. It's like they're just doing this as a cash grab.
But I think we just have to let's do it this year, see how it goes. And, I'm sure there's going to be tweaks in the future, but right now we're staring at like the giant table that is the Europa League qualification table. The top 8 teams automatically advance to the round of 16. So if you actually finish in the top 8, it's such an advantage because you don't have to play an extra 2 games.
2.
It's a home and away fixture if you finish 9th through 24th, basically. And if you finish 9th through 16th, you get seeded, which means you get to play a worse team, and then you get to play home on the second leg of that fixture. So it's advantage 9 through 16, 16 through 24. You're playing away on the last fixture, and you're playing against better teams. So I think it's going to be really fun when you start seeing those teams that are right below that 8 barrier. Like if United really needs a win going away to Fenerbahce, I just think tracking the table is a cool element of this new competition ahead of the knockout stage. I don't like going into January, but obviously given all the competitions, that's kind of where it's headed. But you're right, like something to do with a players union or pushing back on the amount of games they play is totally reasonable.
And I don't think it's going to happen because, you learn about football in Europe. They don't have a strong players union, and it doesn't seem like that's going to get changed anytime soon, whereas that exists in American sports, obviously. But I think the move is like the hybrid, which is like I actually like the table. I like that it gets rid of the group of death, but you don't need the extra games. You can still do the same thing with 6 group games instead of 8. But like you said, team money ain't stopping. And as long as like people are motivated and have an ability to like effortlessly change the rules and enrich themselves, they're going to do those things because there's no oversight. You're like, you can't do that. And like UEFA's like, fuck you, we'll do whatever we want. Who you going to stop? Who's going to stop us?
But what's really cool is this year, this new format eliminates the whole you get third in the group in the Champions League, you go to Europa League. You get third in Europa League, you go to conference. That no longer happens. It's just the Europa League competition to the end. You don't have people coming from Champions League. You don't have people going from Europa to conference. I actually like that. I hated the whole idea you go to a shittier competition when you lose. So this way, it's just going to be the 8 teams from the top of the table plus the 8 who win that seeded fixture go into the round of 16 knockout proper. I think that's a better change, one to the good, maybe extra games to the bad. Overall, I'm excited because United need European football. You look at who's in the mix. Tottenham's there. They're going to be frisky. They just beat us 3-0. They'll probably be there late. Lazio, Real Sociedad. You got some frisky teams in Europa League. Rangers. We're going to play Porto. They're not too shabby. Mourinho and Fenerbahce. So there's enough on the bone to make this competition interesting. I just hope that United can show up and give Porto a game because we're going to need it. 3 points is going to go a long way to move us up that table.
Yeah, and they're not going to be easy competitions. I think this is one of the harder games other than the trip to Turkey we have in our group stage, but United needs a result. I think Porto, still a great opportunity to pick up a result and an opportunity to just check out more away stands. So that's, try to be a positive. If you're away supporting traveler, you get to check out a couple more teams this season than you would in previous seasons. I do agree at the end, maybe in January, it will get interesting as like who falls in the top 8, top 16, whatever. Let's just see how it all plays out. I kind of liked seeing the same team twice because you could like look out for that guy or like get revenge if they did you dirty in the first time you played them. But like I said, it's all new teams. That'll be a new format.
I didn't mind it in the Champions League. I hated it in Europa League because you didn't want to be playing those.
Well, you don't even want to be there in the first place. You don't even want to listen to Hans and Franz. You're like, why am I here?
No, but like I think we got a decent draw. I like the new format. Let us know what you think. Drop your notes in the comments. What do you like about the new format? What do you not like about the new format? What do you think about United's prospects for getting into the knockout stage? Also, hit the subscribe button. Only 50% of people who watch the videos on YouTube subscribe, so hit the subscribe button. Helps our small channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And again, we're going to keep you posted about Manchester United's European campaign here on the American Red Devils YouTube channel.